I never thought a simple pizza delivery could turn into the scariest night of my life. I never thought that delivering pizza could put me in real danger, but one night, it almost did. I always knew being a delivery guy wasn't exactly safe, but I never imagined that a simple order could land me in a police station, interrogated and fearing jail. It all started with a late-night order that seemed suspicious from the beginning. Our restaurant was packed. People were eager to eat inside again after months of lockdown, and the staff behind the counter were overwhelmed. I decided to take the order myself. The moment I answered, the guy said, "Yo, this is Mac. I'm ordering a pizza. I'm not one for small talk either." So I went straight to the usual questions: pickup or delivery? He hesitated, argued briefly with someone in the background, then finalized the order as if nothing happened. The order was simple: one large pizza, plain, cash on delivery, no extras. I grabbed it and headed out. When I arrived at the address, something fell off immediately. The building looked abandoned: broken staircases, peeling paint, empty halls. Most residents were poor students, so at first I didn't worry. I knocked on the door, which creaked slightly open. I called, "Hey, pizza's here." Silence. I called louder, "Your pizza's here." Then a nervous voice whispered, "Just come in." My heart skipped a beat. I had seen weird delivery requests before: students asking me to bring pizza upstairs, busy parents asking me to come inside. But our restaurant has a strict rule: never, under any circumstances, enter someone's home. I politely said, "I can't come in, but I can leave the pizza at the door if you pay first." Silence. Shuffling inside. The door slammed. A man shouted, "What do you mean pay first? We didn't agree on this with Mario." I froze. There was no Mario in our store. I took the order myself. Something was wrong. I told him firmly that our policy required payment before delivery inside the building, then started to leave. Right then, another guy appeared at the door, no box in hand, looking furious, banging on the door, muttering, "Pizza's here." I had no idea if he was the same order or if the other guy called another place. The situation was too strange, so I left and went back to the restaurant to report it. A few weeks later, while I was working, two detectives walked in. Not in uniform, badges visible. They asked if I had been at that apartment complex on a certain day. I said vaguely, "It's been a while, I don't remember." They insisted I come with them immediately, claiming it was urgent. They told me it would be quick and that there wouldn't be trouble. I agreed, thinking I had done nothing wrong. At the station, everything seemed normal at first. They offered water, tried to make me comfortable, and we talked casually for about half an hour. Then the questioning began. They asked if I knew the people in the apartment. I honestly did not. One detective pressed for facts aggressively. The other tried to reassure me, suggesting I was cooperating. Slowly, I realized they thought I had delivered money or drugs to criminals, that I had unknowingly participated in a criminal operation. My head was spinning. They showed surveillance footage, timestamps, and asked repeatedly about the delivery. They mentioned the second delivery guy, the one at the door without the pizza, and claimed my actions were suspicious. They implied I had assisted in moving money. I explained everything: how I left the pizza at the door, how the situation in the apartment was confusing, how the other guy's calls and shouting were unrelated. My boss confirmed my story exactly, matching my version of events. They checked phone records, but the criminals had used a burner phone, which didn't help. I had no other witnesses, except the criminals themselves, who had no reason to vouch for me. Hours passed, about 8, maybe more. I was exhausted, terrified, anxious, feeling like every word I said could be used against me. At one point, I called my father. His advice was clear: never speak to police alone. Demand a lawyer. Finally, I requested an attorney. Within an hour of his arrival, I was released. The next day, I was officially cleared, but the experience left me shaken. The lesson I learned is simple: never talk to the police alone. Always demand a lawyer immediately. Even friendly officers can use psychological tactics to get you to speak when you shouldn't. They can present evidence, hint at facts, and manipulate your fear. Don't fall for it. Be calm, know your rights, and never underestimate the potential danger in seemingly ordinary situations. That night, a routine pizza delivery almost turned into a legal nightmare. The fear, confusion, and anxiety I felt are hard to describe. Every step of the way, from answering the phone to entering the street to knocking on that door, was tense. The detectives were skilled in psychological interrogation, presenting themselves as helpful while subtly pressuring me. The criminal's mistakes, the second delivery guy, the miscommunication on the phone, saved me, but it could have ended very differently. Even simple jobs like pizza delivery carry hidden risks. What seems like a normal night can turn into hours of fear, interrogation, and uncertainty. I survived, but the memory is vivid. The panic, the racing thoughts, the feeling that one wrong move could have changed everything. This story isn't just about delivery. It's about understanding risk, protecting yourself legally, and knowing your rights. Always demand a lawyer, never talk to police alone, and always be aware of the environment you are in. Now, I look back at that night and shudder. The apartment, the strange calls, the aggressive man at the door, the hours at the station, and the looming threat of being falsely implicated, all of it feels surreal. I learned that caution, awareness, and legal knowledge are just as important as skill in any job. Delivery may seem harmless, but it's a job where every decision counts. A simple pizza delivery turned into a lesson I will never forget. All right, moving on to the next story. 7 years ago, my neighbor's girlfriend tried to get me evicted, and I ended up making them break up instead. 7 years ago, I moved into a 4-bedroom house with 3 of my friends. I was the only girl among 3 guys. One of the neighbors, Cam, was the landlord's son. We'd all been friends since college, and honestly, those 2 years living together were some of the best of my life. Everyone had different schedules, and since I started work at 6 a.m., I took the only bedroom on the first floor. Jay, one of my friends who worked night shifts and came home at 4:30 a.m., lived directly above me, so we never disturbed each other. On weekdays, Jay and I often had breakfast together, him before bed, me before work. We had a jar in the kitchen for communal funds. Everyone tossed in $5 to $10 for milk, eggs, bread, or group dinners. The rule was simple. If you finished something, you bought a replacement. About 5 months in, Jay started dating a girl named Karen. She came to one of our game nights, but she thought I was dating another neighbor. When she realized I had my own room and wasn't dating anyone, she was shocked but pretended to be polite. That's when the drama began. Karen started showing up immediately after work and leaving only when Jay went to his shift. If I went into the living room, she accused me of disrespecting her and Jay. If I talked to Jay in her presence, she'd make a scene, exaggerating intimacy. Even the washing machine became a battlefield. Jay knew she was overreacting and tried to compromise, but she escalated by making absurd, parodic intimate sounds. We just laughed and tried not to interfere. One morning, after a night of chaos, she demanded I reimburse Jay for food expenses. Cam silently handed Jay $5 from the jar. Cam and I then had a serious talk with Jay. If Karen couldn't accept that I lived there, she didn't belong in the house. Jay asked for a week to figure things out. During that week, strange things happened. Money disappeared from the jar, small items vanished from common rooms, and Karen acted suspiciously. Then Cam received a call from his mother. Someone had sent her pictures and stories accusing me of destroying the house and stealing. Karen tried to frame me, but my landlord cared and asked Cam to support me. I started planning a clever, small revenge. First, I eliminated the communal jar, split the remaining money among us, and announced the jar was discontinued. Karen freaked out, but got shut down by Cam. Next, I hung out with Cam in the living room every day. Karen got annoyed, but Jay reminded her it was our house too. Then came my greatest prank. Cam and I, both theater majors, pretended to have an intimate scene in his room while Jay was away. Karen immediately panicked, thinking she had caught us. We shook the bed, creating an illusion of heated action. After a few minutes, we stopped and actually started playing Mario Party silently. When Jay came home, he saw nothing unusual. The next day, Jay gathered everyone and confronted Karen. We revealed her lies, her attempts to frame me, and her meddling. Jay broke up with her, calling her a liar and a thief. Months later, he met a wonderful girl and married her. I was the bridesmaid, and Karen worked as a server at the wedding. We laughed together, telling the story of how we once shook the bed to get back at a thief. Jay knew the truth and never regretted it. The lesson? Don't mess with people who live in a house with 3 friends, or they might just outsmart you. Thanks so much for watching. If you found this story crazy or shocking, drop a comment below with your thoughts. I'd love to hear what you think. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe for more unbelievable storytime content.